You scroll through your feed. Perfect face, perfect vacation, perfect career, perfect home. Everyone's life seems to be a flawless, finished, airbrushed product. Then you look at your own. You see the messy apartment, the project that isn't quite right, the career path that isn't a straight line, the face in the mirror that doesn't match the filter. And in the gap between that curated digital perfection and your own human reality, a toxic voice begins to whisper, "You are not good enough. You are a fraud." If they saw the real you, they would be repulsed. This is the tyranny of perfectionism, and it is the engine of modern anxiety. We've been told that perfectionism is a high standard, a virtue, a greatest weakness to brag about in a job interview. But this is a lie. Perfectionism is not about a high standard of quality. It is a defense mechanism. It is a terrified ego's attempt to build a flawless, impenetrable fortress against the world. It's a desperate plea. If I can just be perfect, I will be safe from criticism, from rejection, from failure. But this fortress is a prison. It locks you into a state of constant, exhausting warfare with yourself and with reality. Because reality is, by its very nature, imperfect. What if the cure wasn't to finally achieve perfection? What if the cure was to radically, profoundly, and courageously embrace the exact opposite? There is a 15th century Japanese philosophy that offers a complete liberation from this prison. It is a worldview so counter to our Western, Instagram-filtered culture that it feels like a revelation. It's called Wabi-Sabi, and it is the art of finding profound beauty in your flaws. To understand Wabi-Sabi, you must first understand its two parts. Wabi describes a state of mind. It is the beauty of simplicity, of humility, of a life lived in tune with nature. It's the feeling of less is more, a rustic elegance that finds peace in the quiet and the unadorned. It is the rejection of the opulent, the loud, and the materialistic. Sabi is the beauty of the object itself. It is the fingerprint of time. It's the patina on old wood, the rust on metal, the wrinkle on a face. Sabi is the visible proof that something has lived, that it has weathered storms, that it has a story. It is the beauty of transience, of age, of imperfection. Together, Wabi-Sabi is a worldview centered on the acceptance of imperfection, impermanence, and incompleteness. It argues that the most profound beauty is not found in the flawless, but in the flawed. There's a famous story about the 15th century tea master Sen no Ryuku, who perfected the art of wabi-sabi. One day, his young student was cleaning the tea garden, meticulously sweeping every path, raking every pebble, removing every single fallen leaf until the garden was, quote, perfect. Ryuku came out, observed the flawless garden, and was silent. He then walked to a maple tree and gently shook a branch. A few leaves drifted down, scattering randomly on the pristine moss. "There," Ryuku said, "that is wabi-sabi." Perfectionism is the student, frantically trying to control reality, sweeping away every flaw. Wabi-sabi is the master, who understands that true beauty requires the random, imperfect scattering of leaves. The most powerful metaphor for applying this to our own lives is the art of Kintsugi. When a treasured piece of pottery breaks in Japan, it is often not thrown away. It is repaired using a special lacquer mixed with pure gold. This is Kintsugi, which means to join with gold. This philosophy is the perfect antidote to perfectionism. The perfectionist mind looks at a break, a failure at work, a rejection, a deep personal mistake, and sees only shame. The instinct is to hide the flaw, to cover it up, or to throw the entire pot away, to declare yourself broken and worthless. The wabi-sabi mind, through the art of Kintsugi, does the exact opposite. It does not hide the break, it illuminates it. The cracks are filled with gold, making them the most beautiful, most celebrated part of the object. The pot is not just fixed, it is transformed. It is more beautiful, more valuable, and more unique because it was broken. This is how we end perfectionism. We stop trying to live a life without cracks, and we start learning how to fill our cracks with gold. That failure at work, the gold is the wisdom you gained, the resilience you built. That painful breakup, the gold is the self-knowledge and compassion you discovered. Your flaws are not your shame. They are your history. They are the proof that you have lived. This is how Wabi-Sabi directly cures the imposter syndrome we feel from our curated online lives. Imposter syndrome is the anxiety that lives in the gap between the perfect persona you project and the imperfect self you actually are. The perfectionist tries to close this gap by making themselves as flawless as the mask. This is impossible. Wabi-Sabi closes the gap from the other direction. It gives you the courage to drop the mask. It redefines beauty to include your flaws. When you are no longer trying to be a perfect, airbrushed digital file, you can finally be an authentic, organic, living human being. There is no gap. There is no imposter. There is only you in your complete, imperfect, wabi-sabi reality. The modern poet Leonard Cohen, who was a practicing Buddhist monk, captured this perfectly. There is a crack in everything, that's how the light gets in. The perfectionist is terrified of the crack. The wabi-sabi master knows the crack is the very source of enlightenment. Living a wabi-sabi life means shifting your core values. It rests on three realities that perfectionism denies. First, accepting imperfection. Nothing is or ever will be perfect. Perfection is a sterile, digital illusion. Nature is not perfect. It is wild, asymmetrical, and gloriously flawed. You are a part of nature. Your flaws are not bugs. They are features. Second, embracing impermanence. The Japanese call this mujo. Everything is in a state of flux. Nothing lasts. Your successes will fade. Your failures will fade. Your youth will fade. Perfectionism is a desperate attempt to freeze a perfect moment, to stop time. This creates immense suffering. Wabi-Sabi is a gentle surrender to the flow of time. It finds beauty in the aging process, in the passing of seasons, in the knowledge that this moment is all we have. Third, celebrating incompleteness. A perfectionist cannot finish anything because it's never good enough. They are trapped, unable to move. Wabi-Sabi understands that nothing is ever finished. Life is a process, not a final product. A perfectly finished life is a dead one. Wabi-Sabi is the beauty of the process, the beauty of in progress. So you finish that project. It's not perfect. It has flaws. The Wabi-Sabi mind releases it into the world, accepting its incompleteness. You have a conversation and say the wrong thing. The perfectionist obsesses for weeks. The Wabi-Sabi mind accepts the messy, unscripted nature of human connection and lets it go. This is not a hack or a trend. It is a profound philosophical rebellion. It is the permission you have been waiting for. Permission to be vulnerable, permission to be authentic, permission to fail, to break, and to repair yourself with gold. Stop curating your life for a digital audience. Stop trying to be a flawless statue. You are a human being, meant to have cracks, to weather storms, and to become more beautiful with every repair. That is the truth of your nature. That is Wabi-Sabi.